All right, there you can see them. Dominic very serious on this picture. Quantal is just super happy to be involved again here in this Challenger Cup final. The first in-person Challenger Cup tournament of all time.
And there you see it. Dominic has brought the Sky Striker strategy. I don't know whether it is here, but we did resolve successfully a full balance in the standby phase, and that was actually perfect against the Unicorn start here from Quantal, because that means no looking into the extra deck with that card. I mean, in the first round of the tournament, Quantal decided not to do that anyways, but it's still good to have it done that way here. We now, and that is a reason why this deck is so strong, have a perfect way, honestly, to play around Fuvalos, as we're not special summoning from the deck, we're not special summoning from the extra deck. We just go into the spell and trap zone here with our Millennium cards, and then from there on going to get monsters onto the field. Eventually, though, I believe that Dominic will get at least one draw here.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes, you are not going through so many steps here from the extra deck or from the main deck. However, if you want to put up a threatening field, it has to be from your extra deck eventually, or from your deck, because the Snake Eye engine also summons quite a lot from the deck with the second effect of Snake Eye Ash or Snake Eye Ode. We get the Wedgie Temple now out here as well. Kashtira Unicorn, a very strong card in the metagame if it gets to look at your opponent's extra deck. However, versus the Striker deck, I don't know how relevant that effect is.
That's true. Yeah, it's not really that relevant as you are playing multiples of your really important cards anyways. Now the Wedgie Temple as well. What are we going to place from our hand here? I feel like always it is, to me, the Mulchami Fuvalos, but I mean from the hand. Like, I feel like whenever people activate the Wedgie Temple to place from the hand, it's always going to be the Fuvalos, but here not. It is going to be the Sangenjin. There we go into the Doom Dragon, giving one draw to Dominic, and kind of indicating that we're going to give at least one more draw here, to be honest. But there is Troll and Lockbird. That's so massive, and that is why this card is so popular at the moment. The Snake Eye deck can very easily and very comfortably just keep on going without any searching for the rest of the turn. And we're now even going to be somewhat safe with a Photon Lord. Yes, we are.
Wow, that means that Quantal has even more extenders here, denying the draws here. We're going, of course, we have the Kashtira Birth. That is so good. We can just safely go into our Fiendsmith engine here with the Moon of the Closed Heaven, go into Requiem, summon out Engraver, activate Birth, get the Unicorn back. Ideally, you activate Birth before this. Rightly done by Quantal, just to secure yourself from more hand traps and maybe take a peep at the extra deck.
Yeah, it's also so heartbreaking every time when you now see Quantal summon from the extra deck. You're first seeing the image of Mulchami Fuvalos on the screen, and you're going to see it once again there. You might assume you're getting a draw, Mulchami Fuvalos face there on the screen, but right after the explanation why there is no drawing happening, there is the draw, the Lockbird preventing that.
Yeah, we're gonna see this multiple times this turn now.
I would assume so, yeah.
The Fiendsmith engine is so incredibly strong. Now that you're under Lockbird, the Snake Eye engine is, of course, a little bit hindered from popping off as much as it would do. Snake Eye Ash being sent to the graveyard by the Beatrice is not doing too much. Snake Eye Oak is, of course, a better card there. However, you need to get another level 1 fire monster into the play first. So I think that we're at some point going to see Beatrice and Snake Eye Ash, but then you also need more resources to just get those cards in there.
Yeah, and also I think if Quantal paid close attention to the group matches of Dominic, and I'm pretty sure Quantal, that caliber of a player, previous world champion, he will probably have analyzed every single game happening in the tournament. He probably paid attention to the cards in deck of Dominic and the deck that he played in the group stages for all 3 games. And that was Snake Eye's Fiendsmith, right?
Yeah.
And I think we have the same amount of cards in deck, because we see for Dominic that is 45 cards in total, and therefore Quantal can be pretty safe about this being that Snake Eye Fiendsmith deck again, honestly.
Well, that's a very good point there. At this point, we activate Sequence onto the Desiree. Are we passing on this one? We're not even playing with the Snake Eye engine at all. That is a breakable field, if you ask me.
I do agree, and Dominic has looked very capable in the first rounds, especially in the third round. He did drop a game to Bronos, but the others looked so good, and he always draws the Kashtira Unicorn, honestly. I feel like Dominic, and that is also historically the case in all the Challenger Cups he played, because yes, Kashtira Unicorn is very successful also in the last Duelist Cup, but for Dominic, honestly, I feel like this card has been in every single one of his decks for the last half year, I want to say.
Kashtira Unicorn is an icon at this point.
Yes.
I would love to see a game with Kashtira Unicorn on it, to be
Agree,
honest. That
agree.
sounds really cool. Now, we have the deception of the sinful spoils already there, so that's huge. That is a card that you could possibly want to negate with a Desiree. No, we're activating the effect first, of course, sending Fuvalos from our hand to the graveyard. Is Desiree going to be in response to that? No, the Hallowed Azamina. Maybe we're going to negate that later on. But I think that I'm almost certain that you want to negate the Unicorn as well.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because it also feels like such a bait though, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
it? Like just when they go for these two cards, first of all, okay, there is a Maxi as an initial response from Quantal though to the Hallowed Azamina.
And I understand now, because now the outs, like Called by the Grave, it's in the same chain as well. That is so good. Now you can chain Desiree to negate Called by the Grave and the Hallowed Azamina.
That is crazy. And it is resolving. We see Dominic there. We have the zoom in. He was locked in. He was trying to get that Called by the Grave through, negating the Maxi. But no, Quantal knew how to handle that situation perfectly and now deciding on the two negating cards. And that is definitely going to be the two you were mentioning, the Hallowed Azamina and the Called by the Grave.
If you're ever in a Master Duel tournament, Quantal is just a boss that you will have to face inevitably in a tournament. Look at the adaptation, not even going for a Fire King Snake Eye route here, opening up, of course, an option to activate Kashtira Unicorn, but at this point, you're fine, right? Your opponent is under max C, you have resources in the graveyard like the Engraver, you haven't gone through most of the dangerous cards here.
Bye-bye Fiends with Requiem though.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You have your Engraver already. Of course, there is the Fiendsmith's sequence on the field. So that is going to be a tougher one to go into a Beatrice line next turn.
Oh, look at the intense stare onto the screen from Dominic there. I feel like there's more to come from him. And I mean, to be fair, he has not even normal summoned yet. And a normal summon alone would lead into quite some things here, possibly.
I agree. However, I do think...
but that is even so much better. Triple Tactic Talents. And please note, he's on 4,000 life points for Quantal. So maybe taking one of those monsters could almost be enough to go for game here.
That is crazy. If you normal summon Snake Eye Ash and special summon out Popular, put a Temple onto the field, that should already be game because you can negate the Desiree under one draw. That is so strong. This wasn't summoned this turn, so you can put it into attack position.
Oh, Effect Veiler alone might also do it, to be honest. I mean, you can just go Typhon here, honestly, even. And Typhon, I think, is easily game, to be honest.
If you're running Typhon, of course.
Yeah, to be fair. But we do go for Link 2 Summon. And that Link 2 Summon is going to result in...
It's gonna give Quantal draws. However, you have the Photon Lord now to negate those. Yeah, imagine if you had Hope Harbinger here, Basti.
And that would have been the downside of Typhon, of course, because you had to give up on the Photon Lord. So maybe just going down this route here is the more safer one. And as you said, Typhon is not guaranteed to be included into those extra decks. As we mentioned plenty of times throughout the day, the Snake Eye Fiendsmith deck is so tough in extra deck space. You can't really nail it down to 15 cards easily.
3 cards in hand. One of them basically has to be Effect Veiler or Nibiru, the Primal Being, even though I'm not even sure how many... No, we are not in Nibiru range here. We've basically not activated anything so far. So you can't send the Desiree here. Kashtira Birth is getting us the Unicorn.
That would be game though. We can attack with the Unicorn over the Desiree, and then that could be the 4,000 points of damage we need. We are in the battle phase. Is that going to be Dominic getting the first game off of Quantal here in the entire tournament?
Oh, and now Quantal is unsure what is happening right now. Desiree is being activated, sends the Kashtira Unicorn to the graveyard here, and is wondering why the Photon Lord wasn't activated. Now we're attacking for 2,400, 1,600 life points left remaining here. Is the Photon Lord not being able to activate here for some reason?
When an opponent's monster effect activates, it's a fact. You could have very well done so, I feel like.
Oh, well... That's interesting. Okay, so... Dominic,
hold on, though. It says you can detach from material from this card, negate that monster's effect. It does not negate the activation. And as we were in the damage step, I am almost certain that you cannot activate the effect of the Photon Lord. And Quantal therefore gets out of it here. Main phase 2. And therefore, with 5 cards in hand due to the Maxi resolving, having still a chance in this, as it is his turn again here.
In a boss fight, you will have to take care of everything.
Look at him. He is relieved there when his turn starts. He's swiping the sweat of his phase there, and he is about to go into this turn with all the cards in his hand.
I mean, Quantal is a streamer. He accepts a donation when he gets one, right? So he is going to be very happy about this one. No cards in hand on Dominic's side. SP Little Knight is sitting there. Is of course an interruption, but how much does SP Little Knight do against 5 cards in hand from Quantal? And I mean, he looks absolutely unfazed. Dominic, of course, big pressure in this situation if you don't know about the interaction with the damage step of the Photon Lord, because we were both pretty certain that it was going to work the same way. We're not blaming anyone here.
Totally.
This is really a tough situation to be in, because what do you do with your SP Little Knight here?
So honestly, imagine there is Typhon in the extra deck of Dominic, because Typhon would have been just the easiest answer because you get it back into the extra deck and you have easy 4k damage.
Yeah.
But I would imagine Dominic would have seen that line, and therefore I gotta imagine as well that there is no Typhon in the extra deck eventually. So Quantal, only 1,600 life points, but now with all the power, as there is no monsters even now anymore for Dominic. And we are adding the Divine Temple of the Snake Eye. Yeah, there's all the tools. I mean, Quantal is now just cruising, isn't he?
Yeah, Quantal is just having a little bit of fun with this right here. Is going to be able to summon out Snake Eye Ash, and the Divine Temple are going to be very much damaged soon. I think it is going to be enough with Snake Eyes Diabellstar, of course, that can summon itself to the field after Snake Eye Ash takes the Doom Dragon, summons out the Flamberge, and this is going to be enough for game. I really like that Dominic just immediately activated the SP Little Knight there just to show, hey, we're going to take like all the interruption animations out of this one. I'm going to give you a free field. I know this game is over, so do you. And now we're attacking for enough damage, and Quantal takes game 1.
He will do so ultimately, as we are in the battle phase now. And I mean, sometimes a little bit of luck also has to be involved when you want to win tournaments, and Quantal was a little bit lucky there that Dominic did not see the thing that we also missed out on with the Photon Lord. But eventually Quantal coming out on top, and you see it in his face. He knows he got a little bit lucky there, but he is the winner of our first game. But now, as we explained, we have changed the tournament mode, and therefore we are continuing with this match, as Quantal does not only have to win 1 game, but 2 games in total. And now the situation changes in the way that Quantal is guaranteed to play his second deck, which we saw on the screen. It is going to be the Ritual Beast strategy. And on the other hand, Dominic is free to choose which of the 2 decks he's going to bring now. Is he going to play the Fiendsmith Snake Eye deck again, or is he finally going to showcase the Striker strategy?
So I would, of course, say that I hope that we see Sky Striker now, because if Quantal were to win 2-0, we wouldn't see Sky Striker otherwise. However, I think Sky Striker is most of the time a going second base strategy. So you don't want to let Ritual Beast go first anyways. If you get the chance to play Snake Eyes going first versus Ritual Beast, I think you take it. However, then you're gonna be sent first with the Sky Striker deck. So if you are playing, we've said this yesterday as well, if you have one of those hard going second strategies in your lineup, it's going to be super tough once you're 1 game down in the best of 3 situation.
That is true, but we're going to answer all of those questions immediately, as the players are already getting into the second game, so we are as well. Let's see what they have decided to bring, and let's dive back in with Quantal versus Dominic, and we will be seeing whether there's striker cards involved or not.
Quantal already has 1 leg in the grand finals, has selected going second here, of course. The players have discussed that before.
And there is the normal summon of the biggest fire monster in the game. I mean, competing for that spot with Tempai Dragon Chandra, of course, but it certainly is a pretty good one, I would say.
I think that's not a competition, to be honest. I think that Snake Eye Ash is 1,000 times better than Chandra.
Okay, I mean, we're different camps there, I think.
I know. I know.
One is the combo approach, and look at that. Quantal is just leaning back. And to be fair, though, you said, he's just taking a moment of silence there and watching the combo of the Snake Eye decks there. But you gotta say, you talked about the Ritual Beast deck there very, very actively. Okay, now Quantal has gotten awake there because he's surprised by them summoning the Flamberge Dragon. He's playing with the camera at this point.
He's a showman. He's a showman. Now the moon is being summoned, and now, even though we started with Snake Eye Ash, Dominic is getting a little weak to a possible Nibiru the Primal Being, which is not a card that I necessarily see in the Ritual Beast deck.
But that was I was about to say. He does not know that the second deck of Quantal is Ritual Beast, and therefore it is still a secret to him what that second deck there is. So we will have to see.
Sebastian Lemke, you are right about this one. So we're going to see Fiendsmith's Requiem being summoned here. Let's go over this one more time. And after that, we're probably going to go over this another few times. And one more time before the other times. So Fiendsmith's Engraver is going to be summoned to the field. And when Engraver is accompanied by another monster, you might see a rank 6 exceed after a fusion summon, after a link summon.
Yeah, perfectly broken down there, honestly. You would imagine that you are the one clicking the buttons right now, but we do go for
I know the sequence.
You do know the sequence for sure. Going step by step with it, and that is indeed the Fiendsmith Lacrima that you were already anticipating. And Lacrima is summoned out there. In fact, Lacrima activating, trying to bring back the Engraver. And I mean, judging by Quantal's face cam there, I don't think he has any interruption here at the moment, to be honest.
No, it just looks like he's having a nap. Maybe he's playing some of these field-breaking cards. I assume that the deck is also trying to run Maxi and Fuwalos, just because those are, I guess, the highest impact hand traps that you can have. More cards are going to make it easier for you to play through an established field. But I think we can safely rule out those cards so far.
Okay, we do send the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring to the graveyard. A play that has been popular before here throughout the tournament. When you already have access to the Snake Eye cards, there's nothing better to send off the Beatrice anymore, and therefore you get the extra value off of these Sunlight Wolf that we are going to see being summoned later on after we now activate the effect of Fiendsmith Lacrima. So, Dominic at least dealt some damage now already in this game too.
Yep, that is true. Quantal is just chilling, knowing, hey, 1,200 damage, I can live with that. Promethean Princess is getting back these Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon. I was just reminiscing about the first game of this. Didn't Dominic have at some point like an Engraver on the field? Or did he not go into the engine because he feared that was...
He did.
Because that one can just send away the Desiree, right? No, you can't target it. Right,
That's
okay,
thing,
yeah, that was the problem.
Exactly,
yeah.
Okay, so we go for the Sunlight Wolf now. And now we activate the effect of Fiendsmith Engraver, of course summoning it into the zone that the Sunlight Wolf is pointing to, and therefore making sure that the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring finds its way into the hand again.
Phenomenal. I think we had one branded player in the tournament. I think this part of the combo is the reason why branded maybe has a really tough time against Snake Eyes at the moment, because you can just basically search out Ash Blossom and Joy Spring from your deck.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we can at this point talk about it because Latromi sadly did not make it into top 4, but Latromi was... Oh yeah, true, you're so right. He did not play it in the first rounds, but then in the third one he did so. Now Snake Eyes Diabell Star being summoned.
Oh, and we're linking those off. It always feels... I don't know, naturally it feels weird to go for link summons with an 800 attack point monster with those big monsters.
I think this one is pretty fine to me. IP Masquerena being a classic Link monster to summon out
fair
to interact with your opponent. I mean, that's just how Link summoning works, right? You're usually giving up attack points for, or at least you're trading less monsters for, or more monsters for less monsters in the end. IP Masquerena into this balance trap zone. Again, though, the Appaloosa Ball, the Goddess with only 2 materials here. And I feel like with starting Snake Eye Ash, possibly there could have been more on the field here, or at least one more material for the Appaloosa. But now... we see that world champion Quantal has woken up, and he has 6 cards in hand in total to play through that field that Dominic has created. And we do see the Ritual Beast Inheritance. So now Dominic gets the memo as well. This is Ritual Beast.
Yep, and Ritual Beast Inheritance is a classic field-breaking card because your opponent loses attack points.
Very much, yeah, true.
It's the most important part of the effect.
True. For the journey that Quantal had qualifying for this Challenger Cup final, he did also use quite a bit of the Ritual Beast deck in the 1000 Days of Challenger Cup competition. Now we do use the Inheritance, revealing the Spiritual Beast Rampangu. And of course we're going to search for the newest and the best addition to the deck, the Spiritual Beast Tamer Lara.
Yep, this card does not only provide flexibility because you can discard it and get an extra normal summon, which most of the time plays heavily into Berulia, which is not mattering here right now. But it also, if you have it in your graveyard, you can, oh, Dominus Purge, the first time we see this card right now. So it wasn't used in the last turn. Maybe this was the top deck as the 6th card.
Possibly, yeah, for sure. So now we go into the Elder, immediately making Dominic activate the effect of the Divine Temple of the Snake Eyes there, trying to bring out, I would assume, the IP Masquerena here.
Yeah, I think that's a valid call.
Oh,
nope.
no, there you go.
Nope.
He does go for the Snake Eyes Poplar instead.
Well, Poplar is searching out... I mean, this makes cards like Droplet infinite times better, right? Because if you had the IP... I guess you can also negate the IP.
Wait, Leo, I just realized, and that's why probably also Quantal was surprised. There's only one Fire level 1 in the graveyard at the moment, therefore we had to get that Poplar out of there somehow, kinda, because otherwise the Flamberge Dragon can't bring back anything here.
That is true, but what do we link off in this situation? Because usually you want IP Masquerena and the Flamberge to go to get extra resources, but then you're having problems. However, we have Promethean Princess in the graveyard, so if we link off IP and the Poplar, oh, another impermanence with this field as well. The Inheritance actually really good for breaking the field, because Apollousa is now on a number that can't be divided through 800.
You were saying so jokingly, but it actually does apply here correctly, as we can only negate one more time. And now the IP Masquerena. And yeah, is there maybe a link 4 we can go into? Because...
No, you just go SP and then Promethean Princess later on. And pop the Flamberge.
Oh, yeah, true. You're right. Very much. Okay, we chain Emergency Teleport here to the effect of IP Masquerena, making sure that the second effect of that SP Little Knight that will come out of this here cannot be chained to the Emergency Teleport. Very important for the Ritual Beast strategy is that you want to get to 2 monsters on the field so you can access the most powerful of your fusion monsters in the extra deck. And I think Quantal kind of did a job with this now. He will get to that card.
Yep,
let's see.
Indeed. Now the Elder is being banished, and of course Promethean Princess immediately targets the Flamberge. You said it, the deck wants to have 2 monsters on the field at the same time, and Dominic is just making sure that that is not happening here. Poplar now also chaining as well for extra resources. I assume we'll put Snake Eyes Diabellstar into the Spell and Trap Zone. Another resource that is going to come into play in the possible next turn. However, Lara is going to be the only card on the field, the only monster on the field for Control when this chain resolves.
And I mean, as you said, there's plenty of cards that grant you an extra normal summon in the strategy of the Ritual Beast. So Quantal, is there anything else? Flamberge Dragon, of course, activating. Currently, there also is the Rampengu in the graveyard. Hold on. I think the Rampengu together with the Lara alone could already lead to one of the newer released Ritual Beast cards, because that can also use monsters from the field, and then you trigger the Lara that is banished. So I feel like Quantal might already be good to continue here. There is, of course, another copy though of the Spiritual Beast Tamer Lara, which one is going to be normal summon here, but there's a call by the Grave on it. That's massive, because that does also rule out the effect when it does get banished, and yep, we see it. Quantal does not like that one.
I think that is the best card that Dominic could have had set there. Another impermanence wouldn't have mattered as much, but this shuts down not only the next normal summon, but also the graveyard effect of Tamalara, or basically the, I want to say, banishment effect when it gets banished. Or Anima is going to force out the Apollousa here, and if we chain Espelid Knight to banish the Anima, the Apollousa is going to get sent to the graveyard, no?
No, I don't think that's how it works, but we are about to see. It does, Leo, you are absolutely right. So Dominic fought the same way than I, and look at the camera there. He did not expect that, and he's trying to shake it off, and Quantal just sits there smiling. We have just outed 2 cards at once there with just the relinquished Anima, and now we are free to summon out the Ulti Nocio Drago. Oh, Leo, that was tough.
But we're going just into the battle phase here. I don't know how much steam Quantal think has here right now. And I'm going to be honest with that ruling. I was very confused when I heard it for the first time. I still don't understand it, but I have accepted it.
Yeah, and I remember the first time I actually also got introduced to that ruling, and that was with the original Relinquished, when it tried to equip a monster to itself. And now that you said it, and now that we also saw it in action, I do also remember how it was. But Quantal has no way of extending any further, and therefore Dominic, I think, might still get away with this as he starts his turn with the Promethean Princess on the field.
It was pretty cool though what Quantal did, but
Yes.
yeah, this doesn't look like much on the field there. Nacho Drago, of course, is a powerful monster, but does it really do anything here? Not really. Anima, not the most powerful monster, especially when it's just sitting there in attack position. I mean, can't be in defense position. That would be kind of cool with Link monsters to just change the Link arrows.
Yeah, but that's absolutely not how those cards work.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a reason. I mean, yeah, you're right though. But that's how they're also immune to cards like Book of Eclipse. And I'm sure like Quantal with his Ritual Beast strategy, Book of Eclipse, for example, is a card that this deck also plays a lot. So it's good for Dominic that does not also book his Link monsters there.
Yep, that is true. Ritual Beast Ulti Nacho Drago is now being chained to the Flambird Dragon. You want to build up more defenses. Tamer Lara is being special summoned out. Nacho Drago, very easy to summon. However, when you quote-unquote tag it out, if you put it back into the extra deck, you can only summon one monster back. The others, like Ulti Kanahawk, summon two. So now the Snake Eyes Diabolstar is being summoned
that's
as
the
well.
battle phase. Is that enough already? It may as well be because Quantal is only on 6,800 here.
I mean,
Attacks
I think
over
this
the
is
Anima.
Definitely over 8,000 damage. If you attack over the Laura here, this is alone. Oh wow, we're attacking with the Promethean Princess, not even with SP Little Knight. But it is still more, way more than enough damage here to go for a game. And Dominic levels the score 1-1 here. We're gonna see the Strikers.
We finally will see them, and I'm very happy for it. And the most funny thing about this also is that Quantal has a special relationship and love to that deck as well, as he, in the pre-interview to the entire tournament, said, I think at asking the question, which were the decks that you had the most success with in the Challenger Cup seasons? And he said, funnily enough, Sky Striker is one of them. I still remember him back in the day in the Challenger Cup Tokyo Dome edition. He booked a spot to that trip with the Sky Striker strategy, actually. So he's very, very much known to that deck. So he might be also the perfect opponent to face it.
I mean, the thing is, one of my favorite decks of all time, especially in Master Duel. I mean, Master Duel is my favorite deck without competition, is Tearlament. So there's Quantal thing has very good taste in decks, I want to say.
He does, for sure. But now, even though it's not like the biggest of advantages, the deck of Dominic is still hidden. Quantal does not know what is going to come here. On the other hand, we have the information on Dominic's side that it is going to be Ritual Beast there in the final game. Therefore, maybe that's going to help.
Yeah, it's not the deck that you want to let it go first, but I think that Sky Striker might have some tools to break a possible field there. But of course, the Ritual Beast strategy also profits from knowing what kind of deck your opponent is playing. This is going to be very, very interesting. I mean, we said that Quantal Think has a great taste in decks. Dominic is actually the one who brought Sky Striker to this tournament, so I think we're ready to go into the game and see for ourselves whether Dominic is going to go first or second, because Quantal Think gets to choose now.
He does, and I'm sure with the Ritual Beast deck, you want to make sure to go first, and that is indeed the case. We have Quantal starting things off on Ritual Beast, as that has not won a game yet, and Dominic on the Striker strategy going second here, which is how the deck is designed to be.
Yeah, but I think if Quantal knew that Sky Striker was the deck that he's going to face, I think he would have let Dominic start, but he's done an insane job at concealing the deck so far.
Definitely. I like it as well. So now we are resolving the Inheritance. Started with that card as we did in the last game. And right now we have Quantal trying to memorize all the different combo routes that the Ritual Beast deck offers. Because, to be fair, that is one of those decks where you're playing such an insanely long combo that you have to schedule ahead of time completely already. And therefore, you basically, when you see your opening hand, you have to be like 30 steps ahead, because that is going to be an insanely long combo and you have to like execute every single step along the way to a perfect degree.
That's why I don't play the deck, because I think it's just way too hard for me to memorize everything.
I gotta admit, I tried as well and I gave up on it.
But I mean, those duelists like Mist, like Quantal Mist, just qualified by using this on day one of the DC Cup, or just won the DC Cup with this. Absolutely insane if you're able to handle this deck, but I can imagine that if you go for Apelia to banish the Lara immediately and not just summon a Nacho Drago by, with banishing Lara, that might not be the most optimal start to your combo. But I'm just guessing this.
I mean, we started with Inheritance, and Inheritance just gives us any Ritual Beast monster that we want, so I think we're kind of off to an almost perfect start. And I mean, we have resolved Ulti Kanahawk now, which is what the deck is designed to do over and over and over again. And therefore, I think Quantal is off to a very, very decent start here, and he's just deeply in the zone there right now, figuring out which way to go, supported by the Rescue Rabbit plush bear in front of him. I love this picture. You can put that on the wall if he wins this tournament.
Just print it out.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, Cannahawk is being activated. I want to say the main deck GOAT, and basically also the extra deck GOAT of the Spiritual Beast deck. Very, very strong card. It's basically a gold sarcophagus.
You could say so, and we are resolving that effect of the card there as well. And we are continuing with Ritual Beast Ulti Cannahawk number 2. It's the same one actually, but it's summoned for the second time.
I think you can summon it up to 4 times.
I think even 5 times.
Oh, really?
Actually, I talked about that yesterday with Mist, and it depends on whether you play the Petalfin in your deck. If you play the Petalfin, you are able to go for 5 times, because if you're unaware of the general concept of the Ritual Beast strategy, the underlying factor is that all the main deck Ritual Beast monsters you're only allowed to special summon once. But as you can see, the Fusion extra deck monster, you can summon as many times as you have access to it.
If you basically loop it, and there's Spiritual Beast Cannahawk banishing a card for the second time. This is part of the loop. You use Cannahawk to banish the different monsters from your deck, and then you use the ulti Cannahawk to bring the different monsters back, because as we said already, the main deck monsters can only be special summoned once. This is also why this deck goes for so many different normal summons in one turn, because a normal summon, listen up, is not a special summon.
Wow, thanks for explaining. I learn something every day with you, Leo. I'm so proud.
I know.
I'm so proud we made it happen. Okay, and there you see, though, Striker Jacket, Striker deck, ready to win a Striker trophy. Dominic, you cannot rule him out, because he is going to have those breaking cards in this deck. That's how this deck is designed to be. So Quantal may combo here for forever, but Dominic may just eliminate all of those cards with quickness when it gets over to him.
Also, we have seen that the timer plays a significant role in this tournament, and Quantal is taking a long time to think here. It's taking a bit of a while, because this is apparently a very difficult combo route. Now we go for Nacho Dragu. So we're putting up a field, but it could become dangerously close to timer at some point, while Dominic is just toggled off, chilling.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like even if you play the Ritual Beast combo at full speed, you're still taking 200 seconds. So if you even have to think about it like Quantal is, you're very right. That might be a possibility, at least, to be happening here in this match. Now we go into Ritual Beast Ulti Cannahawk number 3.
Also, I want to say, if you're nervous, you might lose a few extra seconds. During the last Challenger Cup that we both played, the Cup of the Titans, I lost like 50 seconds every time because I was sweating and shivering during my Chimera Azamina combo, and then also I did some misclicks, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I also usually lose like 50 seconds by just entering the game, to be honest. Like, I'm so slow with it. But we are, of course, provided with better players than the two of us.
Look,
we have Dominic and Quantal here facing off against each other, resolving the effect of Ulti Cannahawk. Rather, both effects of it here at the same time, and we're searching for Ritual Beast Steeds. Good card to have, but also a card easily to be destroyed by cards like Lightning Storm and Happy's Feather Duster.
Back in the day when Ritual Beast first came out, it was already a strong deck, and it also took a lot of time to combo, and then always only end on Ritual Beast Steeds. That always baffled me, how this deck kept entering top cuts with just having Steeds after 10 minutes of a combo. However, the deck offers a lot more now. We have seen it at so many tournaments. It is a very strong deck, and now Nemesis Flag, and that is huge.
Do we play Protoss or do we play Colossus?
It's Colossus, and that's the old Nemesis of the Sky Striker deck. When Sky Striker was out first, there was Thunder Dragon Colossus to counter it after a year, and now it is back. We can see it in the icon of Quantal as well. Thunder Dragon Colossus to possibly beat the Sky Striker strategy would be insane.
But still, of course, there is cards on Dominic's side to counter this. He has in engine the Sky Striker mobilize Widow Anchor, exactly, so that deals with it easily, and then of course Forbidden Droplet. Yeah, you're absolutely right. My bad. How would I not know, man? It's my favorite deck. But we do go now for a rank 4. Do we put in... That must be Baguska now as well, right? There is indeed the Baguska.
Oh, we're snoring out here. We've seen Quantal almost sleep during the Snake Eye combo of Dominic, and now he's a terribly tired top here.
There is the Colossus. That's a lot of things to deal with. Good field by Quantal. Managed to do all of that within the limits of the timer. But now Dominic, I said it before, with the striker cards in his hand, the striker jacket on his shoulders, and a trophy of strikers to win. So how are we going to approach this?
Next to Neos, Kagari is probably one of the mascots of this one. Upstart Goblin is being activated. That's always nice. It doesn't search. It just draws you a card that thins out the deck. That might get you closer to your answer. Chain Forbidden Droplet is already huge here. The question is, how many cards do you want to give?
That's crazy. So we have the chance to send up to... Of course. Oh, we discard an Ash Blossom Majora's Mask and the Upstart Goblin.
I love discarding Ash Blossom here, knowing only an Ash Blossom probably won't stop this combo, so I'm going to keep it for a droplet discard. This is phenomenal. Now Steeds is being chained.
That is very interesting. Wait, Quantal thinking about it. Quantal maybe was not toggled on because I'm sure he wanted to change something else to the Steeds because you can kind of play around the restriction of Forbidden Droplet. He cannot respond with monster effects there, so he responded with a trap card, but he forgot to then chain the monster effect afterwards. And look at this now. Oh no, Quantal, what are you doing? He's unhappy with himself, and Dominic must be really excited and happy about it instead. Okay, look at him. He's furious there.
That's almost like not activating Rhino Heart after you normal summon it.
Who could do that, right?
Who would that happen to? It might be Quantal think terribly tired top here is a terribly attack half top here.
Dominic
smiling. Is terribly smiling right now.
Activates the Area Zero, and you know what? He said in his pre-show interview that his best feeling, the best combo in the game is revealing Sky Striker Mobilize Engage off of Area Zero. Yeah. So are we going to see that here in this match?
Oh, we are all rooting for an Engage reveal for Dominic here. Is this another denial of Team Snipe Hunters at this third anniversary?
It's also such a mentally challenging thing. You did just such a big mistake, but you still, of course, have the chance to win. You have to stay in the loop. Are we going to get the Mobilize Engage here? That is a linkage, not too bad, but is it an Engage? No, it's not an Engage. Look at him. He almost got there. But linkage, to be fair, good card to be getting here, honestly.
Yep, this is a very strong addition to the Sky Striker deck in the most recent years. The deck still gets support. I'm super happy about this. We add the Shark Cannon to the hand, though. What are we? Oh, we're sending the Widow Anchor to the graveyard. And now are we activating Engage? Oh, we have the Sky Striker Ace Ray. 9,000 life points here already. I think it is going to be a long way to win the game this turn for Dominic, but we're going to go into Hayate first, I'm very sure.
Man, I love Sky Striker Ace Ray. I can't deny it. Going into the Sky Striker Ace Hayate there. And I mean, okay, battle phase now. Ritual Beast Ulti Raratory. It's odd to see that Dominic decided to negate the Baguska, because usually Baguska is a card that doesn't really interact too much against the Sky Striker deck, as you have Link monsters all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Also, he sent away the Widow Anchor with the Area Zero, which would have been a good out to the Raratory, or is it targeting protected? I think the Nacho Drago protects everything from being targeted, right?
Yep, that is absolutely true. I mean, all other Ritual Beast monsters you control.
Even more reason to droplet the Ulti Raratory.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. Okay, we're still in the battle phase. Go into main phase 2 now. How much can we do with this?
Dominic is not smiling as much anymore. He might have maybe forgotten about the Raratory effect. Battle phase there. Ray is going to be linked away for the Kagari, of course.
I think the important thing here was that the Ulti Raratory prohibits monsters from tributing. So we can't tribute cards to activate a card effect. Therefore, in the battle phase, Ray was not able to use its effect to already get a monster out in the battle phase. And therefore, we had to head into the main phase 2 here instead.
Yeah, but I mean, what would you have summoned in the battle phase with Ray anyways? You couldn't go Kagari and then what? Kagari beats over nothing. So I think that wasn't really like the worst thing ever. But now, Dominic is not enjoying this as much anymore. And you can see that Quantal is sitting there going... this could look a lot worse than it does right here. Now, Dominic, I think we might have 3 spells in the graveyard. Actually, are we summoning a Lara to our side?
I can check. It's only 2 cards, actually. We're only banishing here 2 cards in terms of spell cards that they are sitting in the graveyard. What did we target? Okay, we just take out one of the Ritual Beast monsters in there. Quantal is like, all right, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Not too concerned about it.
Come on. There has to be a Sky Striker Mobilize,
Please.
Engage in hand. Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor. We knew about that one. Takes the ulti Minotaur Drago because, yep, you can... Oh, and we can just tag it out and special summon something else. And you couldn't target any other card. You can't target the Ulti Raratori. And as Baguska and the Colossus are already negated, you can't target them with Widow Anchor and take them over. You can't negate a card that's negated.
Oh, Triple Tactics Talent. Is that a moment of truth? Are we drawing 2 cards? We are. Are we going? No, we are not.
No way.
Last card in hand remaining for Quantal is the Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, shutting down Dominic here entirely.
What was that? Quantal just chilling on this Ash Blossom in hand for the entire turn. And then on the last card in hand saying, you know what? Actually, I do care about your plays. I'm gonna Ash Blossom this. Yeah. Pot of Greed is a little too much for me. I don't like that. So you can go into your measly Shizuku. Shizuku, an amazing card, actually. But now it can add Engage, which is great. But how much does Engage do actually against Colossus if you get another turn?
There is the Engage. At least we saw it. But as you mentioned, how much is it going to do here? Turn is over to Quantal. Breath of Release. And there is, again, the combination of the two. Rescue Rabbit Plush and Quantal World Champion as a reminder as well. And we are probably going to start off our turn by putting that Baguska into attack position. Do so. Yep. And
that
now
way we are freeing ourselves from the restriction of getting everything negated. Oh, it's not necessarily a restriction, but it's an effect. Lara is being normal summoned here. We have more zones that we can link summon monsters into. Can't imagine that we want to link summon both of those off or just at least get them from the field. Somehow we banish them, of course, for ulti Apelio here and now trigger the Lara. We have a lot of damage on the field already.
that is true, and I mean, the effect of the ulti Raratori is still applying. So yes, even if you attack over the Shizuku, you can bring back the Ray, but it can't activate anymore, so you can just afterwards attack over that one as well.
Yep, and now we activated the fact to return the Tamer Winter, and we are immediately able to normal summon it out with the Raratori as well. We are building up a huge field on the side of Quantal Think. However, the floating effect of Sky Striker Ace Ray is as powerful as it is annoying if you're sitting on the other side. We're going into the battle phase immediately. And now, first of all, we want to get rid of that Shizuku.
Hold on, we're crashing with the Winda, activating its graveyard effect, being able to summon from the deck or extra deck here one Ritual Beast monster. Which one is it going to be? We can just bring out the ulti Gaia Paleos like that, and that can then possibly negate the graveyard effect of Ray here, maybe giving us the chance here to win the entire thing right this turn.
Yep, there's only 6,800 life points left remaining here, but you can attack with the Baguska next. And there's so much damage on the field. That is 9,200 life points that Dominic would need here to go down to exactly 0. But Quantal is attacking for game with the ulti Apelio and goes into the final.
Quantal is going to hunt for another title. He is hungry, he is destined, and he looked good in that semi-final there, securing his spot for the last remaining match of the day. But of course, we have also still to find out who he's going to face there.
Yep, definitely. That's going to be the next semi-final. Quantal, phenomenal performance. They're a little bit of an interesting Steeds activation, I want to say that, but I think that is something that Ed can possibly ask him about what happened there, Quantal. What was even that? But regardless, Quantal think an enormous performance so far. Went 3-0 through the group stage and also isn't defeated in this matchup because, I mean, he lost one game, of course, but he came out victorious, and one of these beautiful trophies are going to be his.
To him for sure. And I mean, still, we got to say, Dominic, great performance overall, because so far he was the only one taking off one game at least off of the previous world champion, and therefore definitely very, he can be proud of that tournament record.
Absolutely.
We do have to, of course, now talk about the winner, though. We got to talk about Quantal, and Quantal is with Ad right now.
Thanks, Lampy. I am with the currently undisputed, that's now 4 straight wins. I mean, technically you lost one game, but I'm not counting that because you've won the matches. 4 wins, and now you're into the final, which means you're going home with at least a trophy. That must be pretty good.
Only first matters.
Only first matters. Okay, confident. Now, I've been asked to ask because you do get quite what's the word I'm looking for? Theatric and expressive while you're playing. Do you enjoy playing up for the camera a little bit?
Yes, it's kind of funny. You know, it's honestly my own but it's also a little bit of drama.
It certainly adds a flair to it. Now, speaking of drama, there was a particular interaction with the trap card where you suddenly got very expressive with a look of, what on earth's going on here? And the commentators are wanting to know what was going on. You suddenly kicked off. Talk us through that situation.
It didn't let me chain the... I mean, I might have missed something, but I couldn't change my Ritual Beast monsters to my steeds, which normally I should be able to activate. So I just wanted to reduce my monsters to 1, and ideally... But, I mean, hypothetically, it would have been better anyway to keep my entire field anyway because it was Sky Striker. So it eventually happened to be better for me, but I wanted to play around Droplet, but it didn't let me.
Well, fair enough. You tried. It doesn't matter because you made it through to the final. So best of luck to you in that final round. Guys, that means we have one semi-final left, and that is Bronus versus Kaito. You won't be hearing from me with an interview after, but I'll see you before the final. We'll be right back.